on a day when Virat Kohli scores his 50th ODI 100 in front of Sachin Tendulkar, Mohammed Shami can outshine that. And he did exactly that. How special would that be? And when I say stars are aligning or have aligned for this team, this is what I mean. That Hardik Pandya gets injured, we're all worried and we're panicky that, now what's going to happen? In comes Mohammed Shami, and India haven't looked back since then. He is their top wicket taker, and he didn't even start playing from the first game.
So I'll tell you something. Last night I was coming back from the stadium at around 12:30, and I was staying near the airport in Mumbai, and it was almost an hour-long drive. And my cab driver was talking about the game, and we were talking about, he was genuinely curious to understand, who was the one hero of the match. And I spoke about Rohit, I spoke about Virat, and I spoke about Shreyas, and then I spoke about Kane Williamson, and he mentioned, Kane Williamson, Daryl Mitchell. His exact words were, "Dara to diya tha." And then he was waiting for me to come to Mohammed Shami. On a day when 700 plus runs were scored on an apparently slow pitch, Mohammed Shami took 7 wickets. And I'll just tell you what the cab driver said, wahi hai. And the thing is, so many hundreds, so many runs scored on a pitch, and here comes a bowler who's taken 7 wickets. 7 wickets in the game, and that's something marvelous. And you're absolutely right. We're talking about writing scripts. We're talking about something phenomenal happening with the Indian team. We're talking about Hardik Pandya. One man's misery can be another man's good fortune, and that's been the case with Mohammed Shami. And outside Bangalore, I'll also say this. Outside Bangalore, the India-Netherlands game, I saw something very, very unique. There was a group of fans which had posters in support of Mohammed Shami because he's been fighting this battle with his estranged wife. And obviously, I'm not going to go into that story, but we know what's happened there. And these guys were actually supporting Mohammed Shami, that, maybe he's not been, properly listened to. There's something deeper there. I don't want to get into it, but what I'm trying to say is that people are just now opening up to Mohammed Shami in a way that they have probably not done that before, because again, cricket or Indian cricket has been mostly about batting stars.
Yeah.
A Virat Kohli, a Sachin Tendulkar, a Sunil Gavaskar, Rahul Dravid, Rohit Sharma. There's no Mohammed Shami fan club or Shamians, if we can call them, on Twitter or X. Like there are Viratians or Rohitians. Even Sanju Samson has a bloody fan club. So my point is, the Indian cricket fan base is opening up to Mohammed Shami in a completely different way. I've never seen this happen in the 12 years that I've covered cricket actively. So this is absolutely phenomenal. And it's even before you get into the way he's been bowling. He's been just so effective. And you learn new things. And I'll also like to point out, he said one thing yesterday in post-match, that the grass was just cut absolutely right. Because if it had been thicker, then there would have been more dew, and then New Zealand would have run away with the game. So even the length of the grass impacts dew, and you learn these things watching these guys play, watching these guys bowl, and the way the match progresses. So Shami has been absolutely phenomenal, and everything that is happening around him has been absolutely phenomenal as well. And it's going to be one hell of a story in the years to come.
Okay, this is what Mohammed Shami had to say about the chance that he was given in this World Cup. He says, "I was waiting for my chances. I didn't play a lot of white ball cricket. My return started against New Zealand in Dharamshala. Last 2 World Cups, we lost. Who knows when or if we'll get a chance. So we wanted to do everything for this one. One chance we didn't want to let go." Owen Morgan, former England captain, he is all praise for Mohammed Shami. He says, "I've faced him over the years, and you would have to say his level of accuracy continues to produce, brings a level of predictability, but also when you're channeling your focus in on doing one single thing, it allows very little margin for error." And then he goes on to say he charges in, attacks the stumps from over and around the wicket, but the level of control he's shown throughout his tournament to move the ball off the seam and in the air has been great to admire. He also goes on to say 7 for 57 in a one-day international is unheard of, particularly in a World Cup knockout game where there is a huge amount of pressure on him. He comes on, goes bang bang, and all of a sudden has them back in the game and does it with such ease. Then to have someone like that at your disposal for Rohit Sharma adds more value to the strength of India. And it is exactly that, Jamie. The fact that he changed the complexion of the game. Daryl Mitchell, I know it's so sad. There have been, so many matches where Daryl Mitchell's played a fantastic knock and they've been on the losing side. But despite that, the way Shami turned the game around and to be able to do it consistently.
Absolutely. It seems kind of apt that I'm discussing Mohammed Shami. Somewhere there, about 800 meters in front of me, is where he honed a lot of his skill after coming here from Azamgarh. And then right behind me is Eden Gardens, where he made his debut and took 8 wickets, So again, I mean, just like Chetan said, people have started to talk about Mohammed Shami a lot. The cab driver I took to the airport, he didn't even let me start. He's like, "Wo sab theek hai, match to Shami bhai ne jitaya." So that just says, the kind of realization now that the common man has for Mohammed Shami. In fact, yesterday when I was coming back from doing our afternoon show, it's a long walk from the gate to the press box. I mean, India were just starting to bat. One fan in blue with a Virat jersey was running through the place where you get the snacks going, "Shami, Shami." And I said, is this guy okay? Because India were not bowling. But it just goes to say what Chetan was talking about. There is now an acceptance about what Mohammed Shami does. I think why it's not come before is because this is happening in a World Cup. And World Cup performances do get measured a lot more. It's not like Mohammed Shami has not taken 5 wickets hauls before. But when you're doing it in a World Cup, and I think the Janta, the Aam Aadmi now realizes that this team kept this guy on the bench for 4 matches and now he's got, 22 wickets. Is it that perhaps he's got a bit more fire in the belly having been benched? Would he have been so damn brilliant from game one? I don't know. I think the fact that, look, you did this to me in 2019 when I was your leading wicket taker. I get where you're coming from, but you're still leaving me on the bench. I think he had something to prove because at this age, heading towards the twilight stage of your career, where do you find the sheer will to do this? Yes, you have skill. His skill is never in doubt. That wrist position is never in doubt. But I think something is flicked on in Shami. This is a World Cup. This is definitely my last World Cup. Let's make this memorable. And it's just remarkable to see what he's done when you factor in that had Hardik Pandya not got injured, Shami would have played 2 matches.